In this video, I'll show you how to identify valid supply and demand zones as we go through market recap for today being Wednesday, 27th of May, 2026. So starting with gold, markets broke down bearish with this break of structure at 3 o'clock. And then we had a very tiny one here before it came to take liquidity and break structure for that to the downside. Now, the valid supply zone would have been this point because it was the candle or series of candles before this impulsive move to the downside, this impulsive candle. So this would have been a valid supply zone for price to come into before selling further, but it didn't get up to that point. Anyway, it broke structure at around 11:30, and then there wasn't any seriously valid zone here. This was just, if there had been a very impulsive candle like this one after this blue one, or even here itself, then it would have marked this hook point as another supply zone, but there wasn't an impulsive candle, so there wasn't any zone here. Then finally, price broke structure here. There wasn't also any valid supply zone, so nothing to trade from there on gold. On EURUSD, the market broke structure bullish after beginning with a series of bullish candles. So it broke structure at 5:30 and had a retracement down into a 50% level before breaking structure to the upside, leaving behind this demand zone, and you can see the impulsive candle afterwards. So after the impulsive candle, this was the demand zone that I marked. You can also use this as the demand zone. So I took my entry here, and sadly it didn't work out because price just came close to the target before retracing back and stopping me out, taking out liquidity. And the worst part was I didn't even close below the point. It just wicked it very continuously before a nice move to the upside. Now, after this valid move to the upside, this is another impulsive candle that you can as well take this zone as a demand zone. And you see here that price came and tapped into the zone and moved up before it finally broke everything. So this is also a valid demand zone, just like this one was also a valid demand zone. So after price changed character, the new demand supply zone this time would have been from here. But it was already late in the evening, and there will be little chance of price coming all the way into the zone and continuing the move downward. So it has just been accumulating. So you guys should like the video, drop a thoughtful comment, and share it to everyone you know. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification button. Then join my Telegram community and follow me on X too. My other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, are having issues, so I've just dropped them to focus on these three. Anyway, back to the video. On GBPUSD, on GBPUSD, price started bullish and broke structure to the downside. Now, this is a valid, okay, it actually isn't a valid zone because this candle, even though it looks impulsive, but it doesn't look that significantly impulsive, especially if you see as markets sellers took this candle down to this point, but buyers took it back up to almost midway point of the candle. So it shows that there is hesitation around here, making this not to be a very, very valid supply zone, but it still held. As you can see, it went here, made this huge wick, meaning that sellers pushed buyers back down for this weak rejection, and from there it just kept on going downward. So it broke structure again at 8:45, but there wasn't any supply zone to trade from. This should have been the supply zone, but it had already been tapped into at this point, making it mitigated and unfresh. But you can see here, it's still held at this point. So it broke structure, came back up to around the 50% level, or is it 75? Okay, around that, rather 25% level. So it broke structure again and came back up to enter this zone, taking liquidity here. I mark this as my change of character because the candle closed above it. After that, it went back down. This should have been the valid demand zone, or price just took over the whole thing. I'm suspecting there are news releases that came at these two different points in time. I printed out these two massive candles, this one and this one. So this was the supply zone after this candle. This was the demand zone after this candle. So this one couldn't hold, and this one price couldn't go up all the way back there. Anyway, on AUDUSD, price broke structure to the downside at around 2:30 This now is a valid supply zone, but price couldn't go the way up there. And I don't usually trade after the first break of structure. So price broke structure again, second time at 7 o'clock. And this would have been a valid zone, valid supply zone. But the reason I wouldn't have taken this trade is because there wasn't any impulsive candle like this one at this point. So that's that. It broke structure again to the downside. Again, there wasn't any impulsive candle leading to this break of structure. If there had been, this would have been a valid place to sell from. So that's it. Price came later to liquidity because there wasn't any valid zone and came down to this point and has been ranging ever since. So that's it on AUDUSD. On NZDUSD, now this is what happened. Price came here, broke structure to the upside at around 3 o'clock. This is the valid demand zone. Broke structure again at this point, although it didn't break it very well, it just closed a little bit above it. So this is a valid demand zone. The price just slightly touched it. Yeah, slightly touched it. So this is the not so impulsive candle, but considering the size of this bearish doji, we call it a doji. I think let's call it a doji, bearish doji candle. This green candle can be seen as an impulsive move relative to the size of this bearish one. So that was it. Price came in, tapped it slightly, and broke structure again. There wasn't any impulsive move here, so there wasn't any zone. Broke structure at this point. After breaking structure, this was the So this was the demand zone that price came into and sold and bought more. This is another demand zone that price came into after this around 6 o'clock. So forget all this internal structure that was happening. I just wanted to mark them out just for marking sake. Anyway, moving over to USDCAD. Before we continue, once again, like the video, drop a total comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the notification button. Join my Telegram group and follow me on X. All the links will be in the description. And if you're done with this video, feel free to watch any other video here. So back to USDCAD. This is a break of structure. There wasn't any valid demand zone here. A break of structure. Now this whole accumulation phase can actually be taken as a demand zone. The only reason this demand zone is not valid is because there isn't any impulsive move away from it. So after that, you had another break of structure at around 11:30. Now, this one, the impulsive move is kind of far away from it, so I'm not really sure if this can be valid. It can be valid because this is an impulsive move. But I wouldn't really bank on this. You can see this tiny wick here just past it, but it's still holding strong. Now, this one broke structure here at 3:45, and this is a valid demand zone. Can even move it all the way here to account for the second candle. So that's it. It came into this point and it is currently on an uptrend. So finally on USDCHF, this was what happened. We had a break of structure to the downside, and this was supposed to be a valid supply zone. After this, price broke structure, change character with this break above it at 8:45, broke structure again. At this point, this can be seen as a valid demand zone from this candle here. So it broke structure after tapping into it and came back to change character. Now, after this impulsive candle, this is supposed to be a valid supply zone that should actually hold. The only reason I'm thinking this zone did not hold is because of this candle, because probably another news was released or so after this one. That's why this one came and spoiled everything. You all know fundamentals always will pull more weight against technicals. So this is the valid demand zone that this candle created, and price went too far away from it as it couldn't reverse back to at least tag potential buyers into the trade. So that's it on all the major pairs that you watch out for. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you guys. Like the video, drop your thoughts or comments, share it, subscribe and turn on your notification button. Join my community on Telegram and follow me on X. Thank you guys, and we'll see you again later. Bye.